on your second stimulus check, and more importantly, your third stimulus package. Today, Joe Biden, the president-elect, spoke about the second stimulus check, $2,000, under the Fix-It bill, the Cash Act. But what will Joe Biden be giving you? How many stimulus checks of $2,000 will he be giving to you? And how soon you will see them? How about the $2,400 of SSI and SSDI? How will you get it? When will you receive it? When will you see the money? What about hazard pay? What about EIDL grant? What about all those big things? Over the last few days, I've noticed that viewers really ask me a lot of questions about third stimulus, and it's now becoming really one of the most popular shows on this channel. I moved it up in a time slot on afternoons LA for the taped edition, but now I want to make it also become part of the live evening program with Q&A. So I'm merging it into Purple, your evening show about state stimulus, so you can ask me questions about third stimulus because it's just around the corner. It's no less than about 10, 11 days away. And with that, make sure you subscribe to the Funnest channel. Make sure you subscribe because no one's keeping you up to date and ensuring you get as much money as you can around the clock. Also like this video and also hit the alert button so you don't miss the video when I next go live or taped. After this, I'll be back on at 1 a.m. Pacific Standard Time with EIDL on Overnight LLA, and then at 2 a.m. with FPUC on Overnight LLA, then 3:30 and 3 o'clock with Early Mornings LA Part 1 and Part 2, and then back on at Mornings LA at 8:30 on the West Coast. So exciting as the third stimulus package really heats up. And the third stimulus package is everything that you had hoped for and more. And I get a lot of questions on a daily basis about third stimulus check and third stimulus package. And what I want to do in this video is I want to go over the items, the deal, the routing times, what we know, what we don't know so far. And then I want to answer your questions. And then we'll also do coverage of, well, about state stimulus. And what I want you to know is that a lot of things we just don't have a lot of clarity about, but some we sort of do. And I've seen some great questions over the last few days, so I want to answer those questions as well. All right, the very first issue, and we're simulcasting also as in Instagram. The first important thing you need to know when you're considering third stimulus check and third stimulus package is when. When is it going to happen? When are we going to see this money? How is it going to happen? You are anti-donut guy, so you actually are Purple Hawk. You're like, oh, I'm ready to get that money. Where is it coming? I got some second stimulus money. I got the second stimulus check. I got some FPUC. I want some more money. When am I getting more money? LA gets me lots of money, so when am I getting this money? So your Purple Hawk moment would likely start around, we're going to see it starting. We're going to see more clarity towards the end of the month, but it may start around the 20th or 21st that you have to become Purple Hawk. You get your Purple Hawk wings getting going again for the second time, because these things may come out very quickly. We don't know how quickly. We're going to know in the next 10 days, but let's go over the deal provisions right now. SSI and SSDI, yes. So you're going to get your own stimulus. $200 a month from January to December approximately, plus a lifetime upgrade about 20%, and a new benchmark different than COLA that would raise your benefits annually every year when they reassess your benefits at the end of the year. This is for SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, and Veterans benefits. Really great news. A lot of people have talked about the lag behind for benefits for people on benefits, like Pete DeFazio, the Senate, the House member, said, it's insane. We're looking at this pandemic, and then people on Social Security, they're supposed to afford things when the prices are going through the roof for milk and eggs because of the pandemic. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So that's the logic behind that type of relief. Again, it does not replace anything. It's an addition to what you get. Very good news. The next thing that would be very fascinating under Biden, the third stimulus, is multiple stimulus checks. Today, Biden spoke about the MSCs, the $2,000 stimulus check. For the first time ever, he spoke about a number, which is sort of mind-blowing. We've been going on for months with Joe not wanting to talk about a number for the check, and he talked about $2,000. That's really good news. That's the first thing. We don't know so much about the issue of how many months or what duration. But I want you to know is that the stimulus checks would likely need to cover you throughout this pandemic. Joe Biden has said that he wants to provide you stimulus until the pandemic's over, and he'll continue to do stimulus as often as he needs to. Well, the pandemic may not be over until at least June. So that's 6 months for now. And uh, it ain't one check. It is not one check. It is definitely a couple checks. The question is how many checks? And that is really the big issue. And so that's what I want you to know is that there's going to be a push, there's going to be a narrative, there's going to be a time for Purple Power to step up, and that will be when we need to see how many stimulus checks, $2,000 a month, perhaps, more than $2,000 a month, perhaps. 6 months of $2,000, perhaps. We don't know, and it's too hard to predict it. And Joe Biden won't tell us about it either. The next thing is the stimulus at issue for FPC. FPC retro is just sort of insane, and it's because it's so much money. FPC retro is $600 a week. We have that number from Joe. We have $600 a week. The question is how many weeks and how retro. We love retro. How retro is it going to be? Retro, we saw retro in the Problem Solvers bill to September. We saw retro from Steve Mnuchin to October. But how retro, baby, as Salone just said, how retro are we going retro? And the retroness needs to perhaps go to where it needs to go. And that is to when FPUC expired. It expired on July 25th, approximately. And there has been no FPUC from July to now. And that is the lapse period. And so presumably that's when he would do retro from July 25th when FPUC 1 expired all the way up to the present. So then going forward, what would he do with the FPUC going forward? He would take the FPUC and basically amend it and say going forward you're going to get $600 a week. So if you got $300 so far, you'll get an additional check for $600 to bring it to additional check for $300 to bring it to $600. And this is really where we're going. I want you to understand that the year 2020 was a year in which stimulus was held up. Stimulus was delayed. There was a lot of problems with stimulus. And this is not 2020. Someone just dropped in the comments, I don't see anything happening. Um, well, I gotta say, I don't agree with you. 2021 is a totally different year. It's a totally different Congress. It's a different president, and everything is going to be very, very different. And the presumption that people are going to be sitting here with the same lack of stimulus like you had in 2020 is just not going to happen. Now, we may have issues about how much stimulus, and that is always one of the big issues. Today, Joe Biden talked about no, it was yesterday. He talked about $7 trillion to fix the schools because of the pandemic, and $9 trillion to fix the highways. So don't presume stimulus for you is going to be $500 billion. It's going to be a couple $1 trillion. It may be $4 or $5 trillion. It won't be $2 trillion. And that's what's important to keep in mind. FPUC expired in July 25th and we had no FPUC from July to now. That's 20 weeks. 20 weeks at $600 a week is $12,000. And so that is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. I think it's of all the items that I'm covering on the channel, I think it's the biggest amount of money for the most amount of people. It's a lot of money. And I can just see Americans just shouting about that when the shout is about to happen. Imagine telling people you get $12,000 or telling them they don't get $12,000. The reaction on both sides of the coin for so many people who have been on unemployment is really shocking. The next one, which is not as comprehensive, is the Lifeline grant. Will the Lifeline grant survive in third stimulus? We presume it will, but maybe it doesn't. The Lifeline grant is up to a $50,000 grant. $50,000 grant means it's free money up to $50,000. It's based upon your cost of goods sold for certain types of individuals or businesses, and the $50,000 is based upon how much cost of goods sold you had. So if you had $5,000 cost of goods sold, you get $5,000. 10,000, you get $10,000. But if you had $80,000 of cost of goods sold, you could have $50,000 on the Lifeline grant. The question is whether it's going to survive under Biden. It's not one of those things that he's mentioned in his transition papers. It's something that was very democratic throughout most of 2020. The next one is the issue of EIDL grant. EIDL grant is coming back, and I don't mean the EIDL grant of second stimulus. Second stimulus is going to debut EIDL grant in the next few days, and this is why I do separate videos, because I don't want you to get confused. EIDL grant for second stimulus over the next few days is only two groups of people: agricultural and farmers, and then second for for um, uh, people who are low income communities, and those are that's what's important to understand. Biden EIDL grant is everyone. It is everyone that should be able to apply for EIDL grants. Airbnb, gig workers, Uber, Lyft, sole practitioners, anyone with a Schedule C, a anyone that has an incorporation or an LLC that was impacted by the pandemic, really, really needed. Now, who would get the EIDL? You would get it if you, there's really like four situations. First, the EIDL, if you never got it before, never got a penny. Second, the EIDL because you applied and it ran out of money and so you didn't get any money. Third, you got the EIDL loan, but there was no grant at the time. Or you got $1,000 per employee, but you didn't get the remainder, the $10,000. All a lot of stuff hitting very quickly, and that's what's so different across the board. And so I want you to consider all those things in the EIDL that would be coming under third stimulus package as well. What is the likelihood of the $2,000? Well, this is third stimulus check and third stimulus package. The likelihood of multiple 2000s is moderate. The likelihood of one $2,000 during third stimulus package is 99%. It's through the roof, and that's what's really really important. Um, the Someone said I look like Brian Luttrell from Backstreet Boys. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Who said that? Junior says I look like Brian from Backstreet Boys. Oh my God. I think he used to wear the shirt also. I can't. So, well, we all know that the stimulus shuffle is the new hits, is the new easy, it's the new cool jabs, the congressional floor. The stimulus shuffle, the pop and lock and drop is for the $600 stimulus check, because it drops like a brick when it drops, but. It's just, oh my God, oh my Lord. Uh, Brittany, call me. All right. So what else would you see under third stimulus check and third stimulus package, uh, besides besides some Backstreet Boys music? Uh, you would also see an eviction moratorium, mortgage forbearance, and student loan debt forgiveness, and also rent forgiveness. You're going to see a massive rent program under the second stimulus package. Excuse me, third stimulus package. I'm still lost on Brian and the Backstreet Boys. Third stimulus package would give you rent. But the rent would likely be in a federal agency. This craziness of the second stimulus package, where the money's going to the cities and states, is just insane. It doesn't make any sense. Under the third stimulus package, it would go to a federal agency. You would give a lease to the federal agency. The federal agency would pay the landlord. You wouldn't have to do anything, and you'd be just relaxed all the way up to June or July. They would do the same thing for the utility company. You give the agency the utility bill. They pay the utility bill. Anyone that made $40,000 or less, I mean, just very easy. This thing that they have in the second stimulus package that I'm detailing all this week, it's just a mess. It's just going to be a mess. And there you go. Um, what I expect is going to happen on day one of Biden's administration by executive order. I'll be going over that next. But first, let me give you the big update now that we're at the 15-minute mark. What a night it is. And boy, Backstreet is back. I'm here, you're here, and so is multiple stimulus checks. Third stimulus check and third stimulus package will heat up in late January, but I want you to be ready as a purple hawk to pounce and get that moolah on Moolah Monday or Twisty Tuesday, whatever day it hits in late January, because Biden's going to have a lot of stimulus for you. And it's going to be, it's not going to be available for everyone. It's going to be a diminishing return. I want you to grab that money as fast as you can get it, because ultimately we're on second stimulus now, and we're just a blink's eye away from that as well. And I don't want you to get confused between what is second stimulus and what is third stimulus. I also want you to ensure you get this money as fast as you can get it, and also there's state stimulus as well across the board. So the big issue at hand is how much is these items? Well, I think on day one of the administration, Biden will do a trifecta of executive order. One, eviction moratorium, where you don't have CDC, which is just insane. Second, a mortgage forbearance. And third, a student loan debt forgiveness. And I think it's really quite needed. And so that's really what you're up to speed on. Finally, hazard pay. Yeah, I left that for last, not on purpose. Hazard pay is really desired by so many viewers of this channel. I've done, I don't know, 500 videos on hazard pay, and hazard pay is for essential workers, and essential workers classification is very, very broad, up to $10,000, $13 an hour, January to 60 days after the pandemic. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, but a lot of people are owed the money because they worked as essential workers. The question is whether people are going to forget you. And, you know, when we're talking about doing essential worker money for January of last year, up to 60 days after the pandemic ended, for a bill in January 2021, it just makes me a little concerned. It's been so long that no, they've not given a penny to essential workers. But Joe Biden mentions in his transition papers all the things he talks about. He talks about hazard pay very, very clearly. So I have faith that he's going to do hazard pay because he talks about it in his transition papers. And so there you go. You're up to date on the third stimulus check and third stimulus package. Um, with that, let me answer some of your questions across the board. Is there essential worker grant and a CDC grant? So yeah, there's two essential worker items under third stimulus. The CDC grant if it survives, and also hazard pay. How much for stimulus checks for children under third stimulus package? That's a great question. You know, I think it should be about 500. This $2,000 for children as a stimulus check that's like 4 years old is just insane. That doesn't make any sense. Why are 4-year-olds getting a $2,000 stimulus check? It just doesn't make sense. The people who need stimulus checks are adults, and the children do need stimulus checks, but they don't need the same amount as the parent as the adults. Um, Feels like we're in junior high school and half the class is listening in one ear. I love that. Do adult dependents get money on this third stimulus? Of course. This third stimulus mess should never have occurred. Do you think we'll get a monthly stimulus check? I think you'll get consecutive checks. I don't know if they'll come every month. I'm confused. Is this pre-recorded or live? It's a blonde moment. This is live. This is live. The EIDL grant is only for businesses. Yes, but it can also be independent contractors. Can you get both EI essential worker grants? Billy, great question. So you're going to hear me joking some of the times about how many things are so duplicative. And so far, it looks like they're duplicative. So until you tell me can't get one or the other, presume you can get all of them. I just don't know if they're going to survive this way because it looks like they're very duplicative. Got my $1,200 stimulus check yesterday. $1,200 stimulus check yesterday? Uh, will prisoners get a stimulus check? Yes. LA, do they give FPUC? I assume you're referring to Second stimulus, yeah, they gave FPUC second stimulus, but they would do FPUC retro in third stimulus, and that's what Biden's promising. Is promising six, uh, you know, 6 months, 20 weeks at $600. Where's that money in the EIDL loans? Yes, they'll also have EIDL loan increases. I forgot to cover that as well. With less caps, a lot of people were denied the higher end of the EIDL. How soon the Social Security kicking in? Great question. So Social Security would likely kick in on February, but paying you for January and February because $2,000 is absolutely on the table, Princess. You would not see the SSI money, the $200 until February because he's not in the office until late January. Hello from Guam, because and it'll take them a couple weeks to get this formulated. I haven't asked people where you're from, so why don't we do a shout out to people around the globe? Where is everyone from tonight? How do you get the free broadband? That's second stimulus. Hello from Indiana, Wisconsin, Tennessee, Virginia, Missouri, Missouri, Colorado, Eastern Kentucky, from Florida, Texas, Dallas. There we go. Georgia, Portland, Tennessee, Miami Beach, Kentucky, California, Land of Oz, Detroit, Michigan. Hello from Texas, North Carolina. Congratulations, got to 300. Houston, Kashak update. I did in the video right before this one. Miami Beach, Avondale, Arizona, and I'll get the IG room in a second. Texas, Michigan, the upstate New York, Bakersfield, there we go. Arkansas, freezing cold Minnesota, Chicago, Iowa, Oregon, Harrisburg, Southgate, there's Southgate. Nelly Garcia, Colorado, Chicago, Vermont, San Antonio, Indiana, California, Maryland, Mexico City. Wow, Miguel Hernandez. Go sauce in Mexico City, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Washington State, Queens. There's Queens. There's New York City, Casino, Las Vegas, Bronx, Miramar, Florida, San Bernardino, the 10th planet, Nicaragua. Go estás in Nicaragua, Jackie? The 10th planet. California, Newark, New Orleans. Hey, Nolo. Nolo's in the house. Alaska, Wisconsin. Well, there we go. Land of the Turks, Margaritaville. Wow, wow. Maine, there's Maine. And let me get my IG room. Oh, wow. We got Gardena. We got Easy. We got Orlando, Lakewood, California, San Jose, Little Rock, Tracy, California, Anderson, Indiana, Toledo, Arkansas, Newport, Oregon, Las Vegas, NFC, Florida, Arkansas, Corpus Christi, Orlando, Ohio, Virginia, Michigan. Uh, there we go. Turkey and Germany. Wow. Michigan and anyone else international. We have Nicaragua and Mexico City. Anyone else international tuning in tonight from around the globe? San Juan Capistrano, beautiful town. Atlanta, gobble gobble. Queens, New York, Naples, Florida, Mississippi, Ohio. Julie Yates, I had an update on Cash Act on the video right before this. Boston, Mass. Well, there we go. Hello, and Maine and the Moon Krispy Kreme donut store. Uh, oh my goodness. Do you sleep? Kokomo. Well, there you go. The IRS site is still down. Some people say it's up, it's down. It's just, I don't know. You should not be tracking your IRS, your stimulus check payment. Just wait for it to fall. Hello from Ethiopia, Alana from Ethiopia. Hello, thank you for joining me. Wow, that is far. Ethiopia, Nicaragua, and Mexico City. Wow, really good news. Planet Muto, the Bronx, New York. Uh, Hello from Palm Springs. There are people saying they were changed without permission. Yeah, I'm hearing some crazy stuff. Bottom line is, if you don't get the paper check, you saw Jamaica. Oh, did I miss Jamaica? Oh, I'm so sorry if I missed Jamaica. If you don't get the paper check in the next 2 weeks, then we'll start talking about that. South Carolina. Well, there you go. Pittsburgh, New Jersey. It is up. I'm so depressed, stressed, and broke. I can't catch up. Gotta find answers. April, reach out to the volunteers at news.lalate.com/community. News.lalate.com. Ooh, did I bang the camera? News.lalate.com/community. Your volunteers haven't contacted me back. I need their assistance. Okay, send me a DM on Instagram, and then I'll reach out to one. I don't know if there's one in the room right now. Is Peyton in the room? I think I saw Peyton just a second ago. Maybe it's the video before this. I think Peyton might be watching. If Peyton is here, then he might help you. Um, but otherwise, send me a DM, and then I'll have someone reach out to you. Um, oh well, thank you. Yeah, Amber's wonderful. Amber is wonderful. So there you go. More information about the low income EIDL grant, please. Okay, great. So that will likely go. That's for This Is Best. Great screen name. That will go live in the next few days, and it's important to understand that when it goes live in the next few days, you want to ensure that it is part and parcel for where you are. The EIDL grant is this time around is based upon the zip code of where you're located. So it's not quite clear what the benchmark is going to be, but I mean, maybe based upon things like what is the zip code, what is the income threshold of where you live, things like that, and similar things like that. And there you go. Now we're coming up on the 27th night. Now my finger looks enormous. You know, I was trying to grab a comment because it was a great question. But there you go. EIDL, just the past 6 months, reconsideration, previous credit score. Oh boy, I couldn't see it. Um, Comments are flying. Anyway, now as we come up on the 30-minute mark, let me give you the big update across the board. The big update as you sit here tonight, or you fall off the chair as I am doing, is that third stimulus check and third stimulus package will be heating up in just a few days. You will see the third stimulus package really become front page news around January 20th. It's after Cash Act. Cash Act was covered in the video before this. You're going to see Cash Act get done in the next 7 to 14 days. Then after that, they're going to float right into third stimulus check and third stimulus package. FPUC retro, hazard pay, um, SSI and SSDI, the $2,400, multiple stimulus check, Lifeline grant, EIDL grant, a CDC grant, FPUC retro $600 a week. So much in third stimulus check and third stimulus package. It's really a big thing. I want you to all be Purple Hawks. I want you to be ready to pounce. I want you to know what things are, so that by the time we get to late January, you know what things are. You're informed about the items, and you have an understanding of which items you think you may qualify for based upon the information we have and that I impart to you, so that when you go live, you grab them. You understand that these are diminishing funds. They don't have unlimited funds for everyone. It's first come, first serve, and these things fill up. These things just have mad rushes on them, and they're gone within days. So you want to be ready to be Purple Hawk, not a donut guy. And with that, thank you for joining me on Evenings LA. What a night it has been. The video right before this went over in detail second stimulus and Cash Act. This one went over third stimulus. Join me on Overnight LA at 1 a.m. Pacific Standard Time with EIDL grant. Then I'll be back with PUA at 2 a.m., followed by early mornings LA at 3 and 3:30, and then mornings LA shortly thereafter. Thank you for a great night. I'm falling off the chair. Yes, I've been falling off the chair a lot today. As always, go to the front of the channel, subscribe, hit the alert button, and also like this video. Thank you for a great evening, and be safe and be calm, and don't be a donut guy. Take care.